So before the break, I was indicating this chart that shows that applications have been really going up for disability, but the awards have gone up a little bit and now ticked down. And Michael, you wanted to make a point about Alice in Wonderland.
Sure. So when I started as commissioner in early 2007...
And you were a Bush appointee, right?
I was a Bush appointee. There was a hysteria about the program, but in the other direction. My third day on the job, most of the Ways and Means Committee screamed at me because, in their view, with the backlogs, and the agency was cruel, it didn't want to approve cases. I had members saying on the record, although that was expunged later, that they believed that we denied all cases and made everyone appeal. So I was getting cream from that perspective. We stuck to the statutory standard, and in fact what happened on my watch is that the percentage of cases that were allowed dropped rather dramatically, both on initial decisions and appeals. And it's not because we did anything terribly differently. We've stuck pretty closely to the statutory standard. It's that we get economically desperate people applying in recessions. But we did not turn the program into a welfare program and allow those cases. We rejected them. And that's why at the appeals level, it's the lowest level of approval since 1978. So how could the whole program be busting loose and turning into a welfare program if our allowance rates have dropped so dramatically?
There's a Hayekian problem here, right? Because when the social...
Explain that.
Wait a
minute.
Friedrich Hayek won the Nobel Prize for understanding that there was this knowledge problem, that the central government doesn't always have accurate information about what's going on in the hinterlands. And a lot of times, so the Social Security Administration gets these applications and reviews them. But what happens if the physician is misrepresenting the diagnosis to exaggerate it to make someone seem more disabled? And that's what the NPR report showed, right? So Mike just said... Mike just said that the waste, fraud, and abuse in the system was 1%. And it strains...
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%. So I think it strains credulity. If you look at Britain, for example, now Britain's statutory standard is different than ours, but Britain's coalition government did something very interesting recently. They said, well, if you're on social or disability insurance, we're going to give you a physical exam to verify whether or not you're disabled. A third of the people in Britain refused to sign up for the physical exam and were dropped from the program.
Right, but that's not our program.
Let me just finish the point. So of the next group that actually did the physical exam, 55% were determined to be physically able and not disabled at all. Another 25% were determined to be suitable for some work. Now, the Brits are, of course, morally inferior to us, and we don't cheat the way they do. So I understand that the statutory standard is way more rigorous in our country.
I want to give Michael...
But it's conceivable that
I want to give Michael a chance to respond.
There's misuse of the system.
Michael.
I mean that's straight out of the Baltimore Sun op-ed piece from this week, and that's crazy talk. The Brits are just getting around to follow what we've been doing for years and trying to do more of. We do what are called continuing disability reviews. We did 435,000 of them my last year as commissioner, and every single year for my 7 fiscal years, I went up to the Congress and asked for a lot more resources to do those, because there's a 10-to-1 return to the taxpayers, and Congress refused to do it. We did more. I pushed it up, and we should do more of those. But we're doing almost 500,000 medical reviews a year. And to have someone in the Baltimore Sun hold up the UK, which is just coming around to copying what we do, I mean, that's crazy talk, absolute crazy talk.
Quickly, Rebecca, do you think that too many cases are being denied?
I mean, if anything, my opinion would be it's in the other direction. I see people every day who've been denied despite significant disabilities. A client who has a severe combination of osteoporosis and anemia. She breaks several bones all at once, and this has happened to her a number of times. She was denied. She had to exhaust her 401k and her savings while she was waiting on an appeal. Eventually, she was approved, but we're denying people like that.
Rebecca Vallis, attorney and disability advocate, Ovik Roy, the Manhattan Institute, and Michael Astrew, former Social Security Commissioner. Thank you. That is all in for this evening. The Rachel Maddow Show starts now. Good evening, Rachel.
Good evening, Chris. You made it through your first week.
I made it.
You did it. How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel good. I feel great about a Friday night, and I don't have to wake up tomorrow. And it's been a long time, and that feels pretty great.
This is your first weekend off in a long time.
Is.
Well, to celebrate your first weekend off, you know how you came by at our news meeting today, and I said we were going to figure out a way to get people jumping over cars into the show?
Did you do it?
Stand by.
We're going to go watch.
All right. Thanks, man.